In this day and age, where publishers routinely go back to their back catalogues of IPs looking for a quick buck, news coming out about a reboot or a remake of a bona fide classic is guaranteed to raise a few concerned eyebrows. However, when THQ Nordic announced they were remaking one of my personal favourites, Destroy All Humans, I was concerned, largely due to trying the demo for it at PAX last year and noticing a number of bugbears that had me worried that they'd managed to stuff it up. Thankfully, I can say that the final release is fantastic, bringing charm, fun, and nostalgia by the barrel with a giant pile of A-grade quality to go with them.
Right there. And I just might spare your life.
Easily the game's biggest strength is the writing. The story and characters are fantastic send-ups of 50s science fiction and the various tropes associated with that era of American history. Racism, the Red Scare, sexism, and over-the-top patriotism, and more. They're all lampooned with jokes that never fail to hit the mark. The cast of characters is fairly small, but it's a case of quality over quantity, with the main character Crypto and his partner Pox getting the bulk of the spotlight. Crypto in particular is a lovable psycho who just oozes malicious contempt and black humor with everything that he does.
Son of a... Don't get mad, get sadistic. I think this calls for the Jumbo Probe.
While Pox shares the same voice actor as one of my all-time favourite cartoons, Invader Zim. While he doesn't have the same presence as Crypto, the character still brings that same invader magic across, and I just can't help but imagine Zim actually being in the game talking to Crypto every time I played.
We seem to have put a dent into Majestic's mind control efforts, but they won't stay down for long. However, if we can harness the massive power of television...
Speaking of the voice acting, I was concerned about the audio specifically leading up to release. When I played the demo, I found that they carried the old voice recordings over, and it was beyond bad. The quality was like they'd recorded them on a $2 microphone in a public toilet. Thankfully, it turned out they managed to remaster the recordings since then, instead of just re-recording it. The result is characters that once again sound as clean and crisp as though the actors had just walked out of the booth. I should also bring this up as well. Despite my praise of the writing, the story isn't actually the star of the show. The plot of retrieving human brain stems and restoring natural reproduction is just the icing on top of an already awesome cake. Gameplay is where it's at, and it's divided into two core types: on-foot shooting and high-in-the-sky aerial destruction, both of which are facilitated by this being a wonderfully open-world game. However, rather than just being one big sandbox, the game is divided into smaller ones. This is one of many things of the developers staying true to the original vision of the game, and it's not too bad. While each area isn't really that big, they are at least distinct and packed with detail, as well as some side activities and collectibles to look for, like abduction challenges, racing challenges, and even horde gauntlets. Personally though, I had more fun going through the story and ignoring the challenges, and instead going on a rampage, blowing stuff up. But at some point, you do have to do them to help score some extra DNA in order to upgrade Crypto. When you're on the ground, the game is an over-the-top third-person shooter, with Crypto sporting quite the unique arsenal to destroy humans with, from his tried-and-true Zap-O-Matic to a traditional ray gun and his brain-harvesting anal probe. But that's not all. The player also has access to a jetpack for impromptu platforming and psychic powers too, letting you use items and people in the environment as weapons or mind-control people into becoming your willing pawn. And all of these options are just balls of fun to play around with in any situation. Oddly enough, there's a larger emphasis on stealth though than I remember from the original release, which plays out in a fairly similar fashion to the Hitman series' emphasis of hiding in plain sight, which does work as intended, and the enemy AI is smart enough that if your cover is blown, it was because the player screwed something up and not because the enemies have X-ray vision. Though admittedly, it does feel at times the game is emphasizing too much on the stealth rather than just letting the player go crazy and do all sorts of bananas over-the-top stuff with the arsenal provided.
God, I look good. Scratch that. I look real good.
When you're in the sky, however, the game becomes Plan 9 from Outer Space the game, with Crypto's saucer having its own destructive arsenal to decimate enemies with, and it also comes with its own challenges and threats, and they're just as fun to deal with as the ones on the ground. It also handles well, and it's where the game's environmental destruction can really shine, because every building in the game can be destroyed. It's no Red Faction, but it never stops being fun recreating the White House scene from Independence Day, and the destruction also serves a practical purpose, since you can go seamlessly from the sky to the ground and survey the devastation, which can also reveal collectibles that were hidden inside buildings or were just too high up and are now on the ground. The game also looks great with bright colours that pop out of the screen and well done animations that even add small details if you're eagle-eyed. There's also some great alternate skins for Crypto, which best of all aren't exclusive to microtransactions. A good number are included as traditional unlockables that you earn by completing challenges in the story, and let me tell you, that put a smile on my face, especially when I saw there was a Darksiders skin. These also go hand in hand with other unlockables like concept art and mission title cards. On a technical level too, the game ran smoothly for me, with a consistently high frame rate through and through, though there was one time where it did crash, but even then, that was more of a one-off mild annoyance than anything game-breaking. Now, I'll admit this, I know I've really just been praising this game, and there is a good reason for that. I don't really have anything that negative to say about it. I do have some nitpicks though, like how despite the art direction being realistic, the character models have proportions that lean more towards the cartoonish, which I did find to be distracting. The port map isn't that much fun to visit thanks to how dreary its colour palette is compared to everywhere else, and I found the saucer a little awkward to handle at first, thanks to the mouse instead of moving the Y-axis of the camera raises or lowers it. But that wasn't something I couldn't get used to, and if that's not a ringing endorsement for this game, I don't know what is. Destroy All Humans is just as much fun as when it first came out, and like Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, shows that it's a property with life still in it, and has just as much to offer newcomers as it does fans of the original, like myself. Hey, thanks for checking out my video, I really do appreciate it, and I understand you had many different options when it came to checking out a review of this game, and I'm just so happy you selected mine. Anyway, for the next movie review, I'm going to be taking a look at Cabin Fever 2 Spring Break, and for game reviews, I'm planning to take a look at the Kingdoms of Amalur Remaster. I've been really looking forward to that. I want to see how good a job Kaiko and THQ Nordic did with it. Anyway, I've got all that and more coming up, so like usual, please stick around.